All right there, everybody. How's it going? Sherman here, leaving a legacy by positively impacting people and hopefully the world. I want to focus this video on the meeting that I just had from a teaming perspective. Number one, it's important to know what's really driving the metrics of your business. So oftentimes I find it very interesting that a lot of times business owners, they have a tendency to believe the emotions of how they're feeling about their business instead of actually looking at the numbers of their business. So one of the younger advisors felt like he wasn't doing very well, but yet his numbers were actually doing pretty decently solid. Results weren't as high as he wanted it to be. However, he was putting in all the effort. So emotionally, he felt a little bit defeated because he didn't have the sales results that he wanted, and we just told him he has to trust in the process that eventually it's going to start happening for him. The other thing is that when it comes to communication between the two, is that what had happened was they had it scheduled for a Monday, and just due to the busyness of life, it got, I think when it first happened, one of the advisors, his wife hurt her knee, and so they had to go on some emergency doctor's appointments, and so that meeting got skipped. And then come Wednesday, when they had rescheduled it, the other advisor had meetings to go to. So then that week goes by, and there's a vacation, and another week goes by. And the next thing you know, from a communication standpoint, they actually haven't had a sit-down conversation in about 4 or 5 months where they actually talk about the business. So they both feel disconnected from each other. And when you have that lack of communication, it's going to drive things not to be able to go the right way. The other thing to note in a relationship is that there's different stages. So when you first start out in a team perspective like this, you're going to have a honeymoon stage. Everything's going really well. You might be able to negotiate on a handshake, but that only goes for so far. That only works for so long. And then after that handshake negotiation, after probably about 6 months of a relationship, you need to define it. And what does that mean to you? And are we exclusive? What does this team look like? What value are you bringing to me specifically? And so that's really where we found ourselves in the meeting today, was trying to hash out those conversation pieces of having more structure to the team, having more structure to the meetings, and ultimately making sure that the communication is on point. Because once that communication is on point, you're going to avoid a lot of the areas of doubt and misinformation and assumptions. The interesting thing about human nature is that in the face of the lack of information, in the face of ambiguity, you're going to think the worst case scenario. That's exactly kind of what was happening between these two advisors. So we're able to have a good conversation with them and sort it out by making sure that we have that implemented meeting where they go over last week's activity and results, focusing on this week, looking at what cases or what clients are they working on, and then lastly is what marketing strategies are they focused on to be able to project towards their future. They'll have a separate meeting where we actually talk about the specific clients and their specific needs, case by case, week by week. So hopefully by having that structured communication, it'll avoid them having these issues going forward. Hope you're having a fantastic day.